Hello friends, I'm so glad you joined me out in the craft cottage today. Today I've been invited to be co-host in a Talented Creators collab. So glad that they included me in this collab. The theme for this month is Thrifted, Upcycled. Right up my alley. We're not going from this area today. I went over to that area, over on that end of the craft cottage. It's just a few feet away. I act like it's way over there. It's not. It's a few feet away. And let me show you what I've gathered to use as our supplies for today. You ready? Way over there. That's where I went. Way over there. Way over there. So this is what we're going to craft with. We're going to upcycle and make over these. They were curtain rod. You put your curtain rod through it. So these were in my mom's house. My mom gave them to me. She had a set of 4 of them, but we're just going to use 2 of them today. So we're going to upcycle those. These are some Dollar Tree items I've had in my stash for probably 4 or 5 years at least. So we're going to upcycle these and make something cute. This is a candle jar that I thought had a unique shape. We're going to make something cute out of that. And of course, it wouldn't be a Late Night Creations video without a spindle of some sort. And I don't think that can, oh, that might have come off of that one actually. Okay, well, here we go. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little candle jar outside and give it a good coat of primer. This is just Rust-Oleum 2-time flat white primer, and it adheres to plastic, wood, metal, and more, which includes glass. This will give us a good base coat. Now that our vase is dry, we're going to come inside. We're going to mix up some vintage linen and some faded burlap. We're not going to mix them together. We're going to mix them up with some Saltwash. I don't always mix it to the directions. I just mix it to the thickness that I prefer. So I'm going to start with the white. And I'm just going to use my little scoop that comes with the Saltwash. I get my Saltwash from Sammy over at unicorndustdesigns.com. And you can use baking soda or some of the other additives that you already have in your cabinet. But I'm going to tell you, this stuff mixes so well, and it is designed to stick and adhere and last. I'm going to use these chippy brushes because I like that the bristles leave these really deep stroke marks, brush marks with that Saltwash mixed in the paint. So I'm going to put a fairly thick layer on, not so thick that it takes forever to dry, but I'm just going to put it all around this little, we're going to start calling it a vase. It is no longer a candle jar. This is a little vase now. So we're going to just put it all the way around with our vintage linen. This is such a beautiful color. It's a DIY paint. Now, while it's still wet, I'm going to take another chippy brush and dip it in that faded burlap that I also mixed with some Saltwash. And I'm going to sporadically drag those chippy bristles around. Now, if the bristles get to where they're not separated, you know, it starts looking like you're painting rather than getting that streaky look, you can just kind of wipe it off on a paper towel. Now, we're going to give it some time and we're going to let it dry. And then once it's dry, we're going to take, these are little, they're like the little end rods for a curtain rod, but they're like tiny. I got them in a lot of a bunch of them for a cheap price. We're going to use some Waverly's wax in the color Antique, and I'm just going to wipe it on, let it sit for a few minutes, and then wipe back the excess. And you see, they were a little bit hard to hold on to. I kept pinching it and making it fly away because I was trying not to get paint all over my hands, but I'm just a messy painter, so it's fine. Now we're just going to wipe it back with our little piece of t-shirt. I tried to apply it with a wet wipe. You see that wet wipe over there, and I just didn't like how that worked. Then I took that same little brush with a little bit of the wax on my brush and just put a thin coat all over, making it a little darker in some places, and I used that as my sealer. Now, I'm going to use this super glue fix-all, and I'm going to put it right around the top of this with a thicker jute twine. This is a jute cord, and I'm going to attach it. I did not use hot glue because hot glue will pop right off that glass if you worked with it at all. Now, this twine had been wrapped up. I should have like wet it and let it dry and straightened it out, but I like to struggle with my crafts from time to time, apparently. But it eventually did sit there good, and I turned it upside down. That's what I did on the silicone mat and let the weight of the vase go ahead and set that in. So in the meantime, we're going to glue our little feet on. I used the super glue fix-all because I find that is the best to adhere to glass. And then I did a little hot glue to help them go ahead and stick quickly. Then I decided I was going to take some thinner jute twine. Nope, I think I did the thicker jute twine. Oh yeah, I'm going to do the thicker jute twine and just go around that very top lip. And right here, I'm going to use the hot glue because guess what? We're putting it to a painted surface. Now, my original thought was I would do a little hot glue, wrap it around a little while, do a little bit of fix-all, but then I realized I'm gluing it to a painted surface. That twine is going to hot glue nicely to that painted surface. So I just went around a few times until I got down to where it curved in. I mean, I almost wanted to go all the way down that neck, but I really did not want to take away from the shape because the shape of this is the reason that I saved it and didn't throw it away. Now, I don't like all those fuzzies on my jute twine, or jute cord or jute rope, so I just light it up and use safety precautions. And this is how it turned out. I think it's lovely. I just want to pop on right quick to mention the collab. This is the Talented Creators collab that happens once a month, and it is hosted by Aria and Lolly D Creations. And you will see all of their channels linked in the description box below, as well as the playlist with all the talented creators who joined this month. So be sure to go down and watch through the playlist and get some inspiration. There will be a lot of talented creators in this playlist. Let's get back to crafting. We're not going to need this lid, so we're just going to set it aside, and we are going to clean up the jar and this little lantern light. I'm showing you that I turned it on and it does work. We're going to take Apothecary by DIY. It's a beautiful, beautiful green with just a tint of blue in it. And I'm going to paint the inside of this and the outside of it. This is the silver part that I'm painting is plastic, and the DIY paint adheres to the plastic really nicely. And so I did the top on the top. I also did the white part that you see where you turn it off and on. I did one of these years ago, and I tried to put a little piece of cardstock on there that I could flip up and down and turn it off and on, but that was ridiculous. So I just decided to go ahead and paint that. Now I'm going to use my TDS Creative transfers on this. These florals are gorgeous, and I thought they would be perfect for a little spring lamp. I'm going to just cut those flowers out how I see fit. I'm going to go ahead and sit that down. This is what we're going to do in the end. So I'm going to just sit it down on there while I figure out which flowers that I want and how they're going to fit and how I'm going to place them on there. So I'm just going to cut these little flowers out. I'm going to cut the stems off because I don't want the stems on there. I don't have room for them. And I thought that this teal one looked so pretty on this Apothecary paint. Her transfers transfer down so nice. This is Brandy from the DIY Struggle, who owns the TDS Creative website, and she has some beautiful transfers, decoupage papers, napkins, some wood embellishment pieces. She has all kinds of beautiful things over there, so please go check her website out. It's linked in every description box in my videos. These are the transfers that I decided to use all around it. I think it turned out just lovely. I'm going to use some clear wax by Dixie Belle. This is the Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax. It's in clear. I'm just going to use my little t-shirt to apply it because I feel like I get a little bit less pullback of the paint when I do this, and I'm using quite a bit of the wax. Now that it's all finished, I did put the hanger back on. I put a little piece of jute twine bow on top of it, and I'm just going to put some of these random river rocks that I don't even know where they came from. I've had them in my stash for quite a while, and then we're just going to put the lid on. But I wasn't sure if the lid was going to sit on there correctly. It was going to be a little bit bobbly. So I had this double stick foam tape that I got at Dollar Tree. I don't even know if they still have it. I've had this in my stash for so long. I've had it from way back when I scrapbooked. And then I didn't want it to stick on the inside like that. So I took see on the inside, the light fixture was kind of sticking to it when it went down in there. So I just took my little X-Acto knife and I cut off the tape that was hanging over on the inside. And this is just sticky enough to hold the little lamp down. And then if I want to take it off, it's easy to come off. And that's all there is to this little DIY. Now, how about this salvaged piece of wood I'm calling a big fat spindle? It is gorgeous. I got this on Whatnot a while back, and I've just been waiting for the perfect time to use it. I'm going to use some Titebond Quick and Thick, and I had these little decorative wood embellishments that I got in a huge pack off Temu back when they were giving me free stuff for mentioning their name in a video or doing a haul, and they just have multiplied. Like, I can't use them up. I've shared them with some friends when we craft together and everything, but they're really cute. You can get similar pieces of better quality. These are not the best quality, but you can get some from Brandy. She has them on her website at thediystruggle.com. Just going to glue them down. I'm going to wipe the excess glue off with a little paintbrush. And then I'm going to take this lid outside and I'm going to paint it with some Rust-Oleum 2-Time Ultra cover in black, and it covers on plastic and metal really well. Then I'm going to paint the spindle with Folk Art black ink. Now that they're all painted and dry, we're going to attach them. Now, this did not come out like I expected. I thought I'm just going to pop some Titebond on there and a little bit of hot glue, and this is going to be wonderful. But the end of it was not cut smooth and even, so it was wobbly. It didn't sit straight, so it wasn't making connection all the way around. So I ended up putting a few screws in it, and you'll see here shortly how I did that. I'm going to take some Rub and Buff or Golden Rule. I chose Golden Rule. I was deciding between the two. I chose Golden Rule, and I'm going to do a heavy dry brush or just a skimpy coat of this wax over the top of this entire piece. You'll see I don't want to completely cover up the black. I just love the look of this. I love the way this looks. Oh, words are hard today. Okay, so I guess I'm going to show you doing the whole thing. Now, I think I just showed you this one little piece. Then I'm going to take this little cloth and just kind of wipe it back and smooth it and smear it. And I'm going to do that all the way up, this entire piece, except the little black tray at the top that's going to hold our candle or whatever we're going to put up there. But now I'm noticing that it's not going to be sturdy or durable, so we're going to put those 3 screws in there. I just had some little screws and I put them in, but then it's tacky looking. We don't want it to look tacky. We don't do tacky crafts over here. So I'm going to take some double stick tape and put it on some black heavy cardstock, and it's actually patterned on one side. It has like a little bit of a weave pattern on one side. You can barely see it, and I'm just going to press it down in there and push that tape down really good. And I guess I had some gold paint on my fingers, but anyway, this is how it turned out. I think it's gorgeous. and let me know what you think about this one. Grab some Dixie Belle paint in sea glass and bluegrass. I love these colors. Bluegrass is one of my favorite paint colors. And we are going to take our corbel brackets, drapery sconces, whatever you want to call them, scarf swags. We're going to take them and we're going to paint them. We're not going to use them for their intended use. We're going to make bookends. So I'm going to give both of them a coat of this bluegrass paint. And I'm using a chippy brush so I can just pounce it and get it all down in there. Just keep pouncing that paint. I'll just apply it on there with my paintbrush and then just pounce, pounce, pounce to get, it gives it a little bit of a texture, but it also helps to get down in all the little nooks and crannies of that. Now I'm going to take the sea glass and I'm kind of mixing them together, but while they're still a little bit wet, the paint's not completely dry, I'm just going to pounce a little color into it. It kind of makes it look a little bit like stone, but that's really not the look that I was going for. I just like that look. I love it. 2 thumbs up. Clappy, clappy, clappy. Now, I'm afraid that you might see the back side because they're going to be bookends. And I don't want to fill all those holes. I don't want to cut a piece of wood to match it or anything. So I got my TDS Creative decoupage paper out and I cut up a couple pieces, just roughly cut them out, and we're going to decoupage it to the back. So I'm just going to spritz my little paper down, like Brandy says, give it a little spritzy spritz with my Mister bottle and let that sit while I'm applying a little Mod Podge. Mod Podge is my decoupage medium of choice right now because I'm still using my gallon jug from 2018. Yes, ma'am, I am. And then you're going to just see how I apply this. This is my favorite way to apply if I'm not using the iron-on method. Iron-on method is my favorite, but I didn't think that it would work with this plastic. This is kind of a plastic surface or resin. It's kind of a resin casting, I guess. So I'm just going to finally quit struggling and put something under it to hold it. And then we're just going to apply some Mod Podge to our area and then pull down our damp decoupage paper over it and seal it up with a top coat. And super easy. It was a little long, so I just pulled it off because you know I don't mind those torn edges. We're going to give it some time and let it dry. Now, I had the bright idea that I was going to do the thing I always do and use the sandpaper to tear those edges off. But it started sanding off my paint. And I did not want this to be that rustic type of look. So I just got out my X-Acto knife and just laid it up against the edge of it and just slid it around there, and that worked good. Then I saw a little piece here where you can see that piece down there at the bottom that, oh, didn't get adhered good. So not a problem. We're just going to take a little bit of Mod Podge on our paintbrush, stick it in there, and put it back down. No problem at all. And then just continue on around until we get, I'm just going to rip that off. Just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Just tear it off. And this is how it turned out. I wish, hindsight, I would have left them like this and just clear waxed them. But no, I had to dirty them up a little bit. I used the Dixie Belle Van Dyke Brown Glaze. And I don't know if I used too much or what, but I do not like what this did to them. But once I did it, there was no going back. So I put it on and dabbed it off. I couldn't really wipe it off because then it will wipe back that DIY paint because this is liquid and it will liquid distress the paint. So they turned out a little darker than I wanted, a little more, yeah, just darker. I think just darker. I'm going to show you the comparison of the two. I did take a dry chippy brush and kind of went over it afterwards to try to get that glaze kind of out of the nooks and crannies. There, you see the difference in the two? But this is how they turned out. They are beautiful, and they were fun to style. But if hindsight, I wouldn't have glazed them with that darker glaze. Let me know what you think. That's all for this video, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found a favorite, or you found some inspiration to find some thrifted items or just some things around your house that could be updated or redone. Be sure and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps my channel out. It gets this video out to more people. Be sure and leave a comment down below, even if it's just an emoji. But most of all, I want you to remember to be still and know that He is God.